Hello everybody and welcome. Thank you for watching this video today. We are going to dig into a React and JAMStack based app called Battlestax. So what is Battlestax? Battlestax is essentially a party game, right? It's familiar, if you're familiar with certain other games, you've probably used to how it works. Essentially, you have a set of questions that you are asked with a group of people, and you really try to answer, say, maybe the funniest or the most provocative, and then everybody else votes on those answers, and the one with the most points at the end wins, right? And so what we've done here is we've implemented Battlestax on the JAMStack framework. So if we take a look at what is JAMStack, the Jam in JAMStack is JavaScript, API, and markup, right? And JAMStack is really a new standard architecture using the web, GitHub, actions, workflows, pre-rendered context, statically generated content that is deployed up to a CDN and then made dynamic by APIs and serverless functions, right? And there are all sorts of different tools and frameworks we can use for that. Now, for what we're doing today, right, we are going to use DataStax Astra as our document store and Netlify for our global CDN and serverless functions, but we'll get to that a little bit later. For now, though, I've invited some friends with us, and we're going to play a quick round of Battlestax to give you all a feel for what that should look like. So, hello, friends. Let's play some Battlestax. Let's do it. All right, so, all right, I'm going to start a new game. Let me go ahead and do that. Here we go. Let me start a new game. So we have a new game of SKVG. Now, please don't go in until I do. SKVG. And let's see who I'm Yanni today. I feel like Yanni. Okay, wonderful. And we'll just wait for my friends. There's my friends. Wonderful. I have two other friends. Just two. All right, so let's start the game. And now what we'll see is there is a timer. Everyone's getting ready. Then once the timer goes down, we'll all be asked a set of questions, and we answer those questions. And then after that, there will be a round of voting. Oops. You have to spell correctly. Now, of course, you saw what I typed in. You're not going to see what they typed in. But as the rounds of voting come through, now everyone's going to start voting. And eventually, I'll see some questions show up. Oh, good. I'm glad to see that one won. So then you can see on the left-hand side there some of the votes that are coming in. Now, there's only 3 of us here. Oh. So I get a chance to vote. Okay, and then after that, it's going to tally all the scores, and whoever got the top amount of points wins. We all get 0! Oh, there it goes. All right, looks like Yanni came in with 100, and then Rebecca with 50. And I'm sorry, DC, you have 0. You have 0. But anyway, that gives you an idea of what the game looks like and how it plays. So now let's take this and actually deploy it in our local environment. And with that, see you, friends. Thank you so much for joining. On the left-hand side are going to be the instructions that I'm going to follow from the repo. And on the right-hand side are going to be the things that the instructions are telling me to do. So the repo we are working out of here, by the way, is github.com/datastax-examples/battlestax, right? So go there and you can follow along. Now, if I scroll down here, the first thing we see that I want to create a DataStax Astra account. So DataStax Astra is a fully managed cloud-based Apache Cassandra solution, right? And Astra is free to register. There is a free tier. So everything we're going to do today is completely free. So I've already registered an account. I have one and I'm logged in. Once you're logged in, you should see a screen that looks something like this. Notice the Add Database button. So I'm going to follow the instructions here, click Add Database. And then I want to choose the free tier. Again, that is free forever. It's a really great place to take a look, to just experiment, or if you want to test things out like we're doing right now. Then from there, I will select the Google Cloud provider because that's the only one that's available in the free tier. And then the region closest to me, in my case, it's US East, Once I have picked all the options that I can, configure database will light up. I'll click that. And now I go to the next section. So let's scroll down here. This is where I want to set the values of my database, things like its name, my username, so on and so forth. Now, you can use whatever values you want here. I have used some previously that I'm just going to choose to make my life a little easier. Okay. Once you have filled all of those in, the Create Database button will light up. Just go ahead and click that. And then it will go to create your database. Now, this will just take a minute or two, right? It's not going to take very long at all. Now, while we're doing that, let's go back over to our instructions and let's take a look. Now, you're going to notice here, instructions tell you to go to the connect screen and pull some data out of there. While our database is being created, I actually want to go to the next one for a moment. And we're going to make a copy of this repository. And the reason being is because later on, we're going to launch our own application into production. And doing so, we need our own repository to do it. So I'm just going to go ahead and bring this over here. And then per the instruction in the DataStax examples Battlestax repo, I'm going to use this template and put in a nice name. Public is a good idea, especially if you're going to use Gitpod later. You're going to want a public repository. Ensure to click include all branches. That is important. And then just say copy repository from the template. Now GitHub is going to go. It's going to take a minute or two. It's going to generate this new repository. While it's doing that, let's go back over to Astra. Yes, we are active. Wonderful. So now I'm going to go to the connect button here, like it says in the instructions. And notice that the document API, you see you have all these different APIs and these different code languages. Now, what's really cool about the Connect tab here in Astra is that it's actually going to pull all of the connection values that you need for Astra for you. So what I want to do is we're going to use the document API. And I can just go here. I need these values later on in code. So I'm just going to copy those in my clipboard. I'm good to go. Whether or not you're doing the document API or using any of the language variants, it's really cool because you can just go down. It'll give you all the instructions you need and how to connect to the database and how to use it. Okay, so let's take a look. Oh, good. Our repo is here. So we should be ready to go from that standpoint. Notice that it is my personal account and not the DataStax examples one. So wonderful. Okay, now at this point, it tells you to go ahead and clone the repository. What I'm going to do is cheat a little bit, right? That's kind of assuming that you're going to pull this down locally and work within your own local IDE. We have another option though, and that's Gitpod. So we've actually pre-configured Gitpod in this repository to preload a bunch of the dependencies, all that kind of thing, so you don't have to do it. And if you're not familiar with Gitpod, it is a cloud-based IDE. It's there in GitHub, so if you have a GitHub account, you can just click like we're doing here and launch one. And it's honestly, it's pretty wonderful. It will allow you to collaborate with your teammates. You can just launch an IDE with everything configured. You don't have to worry about what OS you're on, all sorts of things. So we're going to go ahead and load that here for a moment and let npm install some of our prerequisites. Okay, so all of our prerequisites are now in place. So let's go ahead and continue on with the instructions. So noticing here, the first thing I want to do is a git fetch. And then a get checkout full game. Okay. Now notice this part here. It says create a .env file and fill it with the values from .env.example. So we have provided an example env file for you. So what I'm going to do is cat the env example. I'm going to redirect that out to .env. Now I have a .env file. I open that up. Now here's what I want to do. Remember the values that we copied out of here earlier? I just copied those there. I'm just going to overwrite all of them except for games collection there and paste them in place. Now, one thing to point out is I am going to delete these export commands because we don't need them. They are for a shell, and in this case, we're in a .env file, not the shell, so I'm just going to delete those. But otherwise, it's actually filled in all the values for me, except for my password, right? That wouldn't be good from a security standpoint. So go ahead and fill that out. And do not forget to save. I have to save. You see, that changes the state there. And now my environment is configured for my code to connect. Now we need to do an npm install to get any of our dependencies. The npm install completed. Let's go ahead and run some tests just to be sure that our code is working as we expect. Okay, great. All right, with that, so let's go ahead and now run the actual code and make sure to type that right or it's not going to work very well. There we go. And we're going to run the application. You can see that it's bringing in the environment variables that we had configured previously. We're waiting for the server to come up. Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and refresh this real fast. That will be where the game is. I will put the lobby here. All right, so the key thing is if we start a new game, SWLJ, let's come over here to Dave, and it was SWLJ, join game, and we see that a game has started. So here's the key deal though. If I come back over to our database where we are storing our document via our document API, then if I go to my SQL console and type games, boom, we should see that I have codes that match, right, the values that I just put in, and that's exactly what I have. So we know now that our game is in fact functioning, is connected to our data store, and it's ready to go in our local IDE environment. So the next step is going to take this and deploy this through our full CI/CD pipeline with GitHub Actions and Netlify in production, and we'll do that in a following video. Thank you. Take care.